In this episode, more than our engine breaks, strangers become friends, and we make it into a local newspaper.
I read about it in the newspaper.
So the engine trouble continued. We had some water coming in. Now we are talking to some engineers today and try and get our dripping water fixed, because that's annoying and scary.
The engineer quickly diagnosed the problem to be a lack of grease in our stuff box. And are you okay? If I'm completely honest, I didn't know we had a stuff box, and maybe you don't know either what it is. Wait, I'll just show you quickly. Okay, so this is the engine, and then behind the engine we have more engine. And down there is the blackjack, also called a stuff box.
You see, you can open this little thing here by screwing it off. And you already see some water coming out, meaning there's not enough grease in there. Luckily I've got some grease. Now I'm gonna push in some grease in there, push in some grease in the cap, and then we're gonna start and screw this back on. Low-key really lucky I had to show you guys, because we needed that grease.
So the kind people from the shipyard squeezed in some new grease, told us that we'd be good and send us on our way. We would soon find out that a lack of grease was far from the biggest problem of our engine. Our next stop was a city called Simrishamn. We finally got good winds and sailing. The reason we wanted to get to Simrishamn so badly was that we had ordered floatation suits. When we arrived, it was a warm, sunny day, and that was so welcome after all the snow and storms. We always try to find other doggos and beaches for Elvis. He's already 18 years old and loves the beach.
We can just pretend we're in Mallorca. Wow, it's like, it looks like it's painted. That's crazy.
Simrishamn Marina was not our favorite. Even in winter they charged a full price. That's 25 euros for an 8-meter boat, and electricity comes on top. So what do you get for your 25?
You get a... Oh my god, I can't believe I paid for this toilet here.
You get 2 million geese.
Look at all them goosies. Hello, goosey. And there's more. Whoa. What is even happening?
And the poop was everywhere. And I mean everywhere.
You get a beautiful sunrise.
I would say this was one of my least favorite harbors in Sweden. I'll give it a 2.5 in terms of value for the money. But on the plus side, the weather was amazing, and so was the local library.
Stuck in Simrishamn.
We went there all the time to catch up on work and edit videos. And in case you caught that detail, yes, our boat was still wearing its old name, Alice. Stina used the time in the library to design new boat stickers to reflect our chosen name. How'd you like them? Oh, and here's the catch. We will only get to apply the stickers once we make it to warmer climates. Yep, that is the new flotation suit. These suits would not only be able to keep us afloat in the icy cold water, we hope that they'd also make us feel a bit warmer during long passages. We didn't think we would get so close to needing them so quickly though. You see, when we left Simrishamn to go to our next stop Ystad, the weather got pretty rough again. But the real problem started once we arrived. Imagine this, there was quite a bit of wind and we came up to the pier pretty fast. So I put in reverse to kind of make the boat stop. However, when I tried to put the gear back into neutral, it didn't go back to neutral. It stayed in reverse, and suddenly the boat started moving backwards. We grabbed the lines, jumped off the boat and tied it off on the pier. And yeah, I know I could have just switched the key to off and the engine would have stopped, but in the heat of the moment, anyways, this was bad. We couldn't move the gear back into neutral. We had no idea how bad it would get. We've managed to fix that first issue by adjusting the length of the gear selector cable. However, once we had done that and we turned the engine on to check, we suddenly didn't have any propulsion anymore. We put the gear in forward and the boat didn't move. Had our propeller fallen off? One thing I will never forget is a night where I woke up because I heard something running around on our deck. So I carefully opened the hatch and stared into the eyes of a ferret. Turns out it lived in the harbour, and during our stay in Ystad we just kept seeing it, running about, finding dead birds and other stuff to eat. It was a bit grueling but also fascinating. Luckily, when you're in a harbour in winter, you attract a lot of attention. And rumor had it that a local guy called Jimmy knew his way around engines. And after a while, we found someone who had his phone number. The next day, Jimmy and his friend Marcus stopped by to help us lift the boat out of the water to see if the propeller was still there. And that's where it all began. Turned out we had 3 things going against us. First challenge, we had no propulsion, so we needed to sail the boat all around the marina to bring it to the harbour crane. Second challenge, it was more than a bit of windy, so we decided to just pull out a little bit of the Genoa, the sail that is in the front of the boat, to catch a little bit of wind, just enough to pull the boat out of its spot and sail it around the marina. Third challenge, yep, no matter what I did, the boat didn't turn. At this point, Stina and Jimmy had realized that something was wrong. It took me a bit longer though, because I just thought we were too slow to maneuver the boat. And this is where I realized I had lost steering. This was spooky, we were just drifting. But there was nothing I could do except roll the Genoa back up and hope that we wouldn't hit anything expensive. Then the boat just suddenly turned and we glided towards an empty berth and moored alongside. And when I say we, I literally just mean the boat went there without us doing anything. But yeah, talk about us being lucky. We took some long ropes, pulled the boat to the harbour crane, took the mast off and started lifting it out of the water. And we immediately realized the propeller was still there. It's a strange feeling seeing a 5-ton boat just lifting out of the water, and for us it was the first time that we saw the underwater part of the boat. Like with a lot of older boats, it is pretty painful to work in the engine bay. This boat is really good looking, but the steering cabinet is tighter than a squirrel's sock drawer. So I had to hold Stina by the feet to let her inspect it. And then Jimmy also took a dive. Together with Marcus, Jimmy and the advice from 2 other Ystad locals, we managed to fix the steering issue. One of the wires to the rudder had become loose. The propulsion, however, turned out way worse than we thought. The gearbox was toast. This was gonna be expensive, and if I'm honest, it was one of those moments where we thought about giving up. But from that moment on, Jimmy and Marcus became our friends. There are some things you can't share without ending up liking each other. And sailing a boat with no steering and no working engine through a packed marina is one of them. It's so strange to see her without a mast. But today the mast's gonna get put back on. Putting the mast back on was a challenge. None of us could recall how to do it until Jimmy remembered it.
Tied it up in this end, I think. Yeah, that's important.
It took a long time, but finally we were done.
Because, you know, this thing here.
Guess what time it is?
8:30.
9:30.
No.
No. Yeah, I swear. So we were now working since 4. Just putting back the mast and the sails and all that. And Elvis was waiting in the toilet. So don't tell Percy Weasley. He doesn't like us sneaking around a women's toilet.
I happen to be a school prefect.
One time I asked the librarian in Simrishamn where the restricted section is, and she looked at me confused, and I said, well, the one with the spells with like dark magic. And she was like, sorry? And I was like, it's a Harry Potter reference. And she just shrugged. I'm not sure if she really reads. Elvis is getting fed with a spoon. A few days later, the new gearbox arrived, and it came with a bit of a scare.
I believe it's here.
Question is, do you think it's a block of wood or do you think it's a transmission?
It's one of those, definitely heavy. It's definitely from Drinkwater Marina. I think that's something we can definitely do. Yeah, they packaged it really well for this travel. So excited. Oh, what do we have here? Whoa, that is so heavy. Twin disc, that is also very promising. Techno drive. Now let's hope it's the right one.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Just start drop it.
Wow. Does it look correct? Yeah. That looks like the one we had. It's good. That feels similar to ours though. Just a lot tighter. Nice. Let's go. Now we only need Oscar to come.
A few moments later.
So what just happened?
Well, I checked on the side and it says TMC40P and ours was the TMC40M. I did specify that we need the TMC40M and now I'm kind of confused whether it's the right one or not. I of course talked to AI, but AI said you can't swap one for the other and that one of them uses machine oil, but actually this one also uses ATF oil, so I don't really trust anything right now because usually, you know, with ChatGPT and that stuff, when it comes to boat engines, it gets almost everything wrong. So I just want to call them up and see what was it, Eric, the engineer, says. Nicholas calling. I think we spoke last week briefly.
Yes.
And I ordered a transmission, and I want to ask if Eric was still available because I had a question about it because it's a slightly different model than we have.
Oh, okay, yeah, one moment please. I'll try to connect you with Eric.
Thank you so much. Nico calling. We spoke last week and we ordered the gearbox for our boat from you.
Yeah.
It was a TMC40M.
Yeah.
We just finally received the parcel. It was a bit difficult to get it here where we are. But I opened it and I noticed that it is a TMC40P, not M. And I want to ask...
Yeah, that's not a difference.
Not a difference?
No.
Ah, okay. Is that just... Did they change the naming or something?
Yeah, to do with production.
Sorry?
Sorry? That has to do with the production.
Ah, okay. So it's because I tried to find out what the difference is and I found something about one being for direct shaft, the other one not so much, but you say they can be used either way.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Well, Eric says you can use this and it's just a different production type. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
What's going to happen today?
We're going to educate these children on sailing. They will be educated by someone who's never really sailed before. So, I mean,
Is that you?
no liabilities. Do you have your liability insurance?
I do, actually. Look, we got a mast again. No. Today we got the engineer coming, putting the gearbox in. And all the kids are here to watch. And just like that, 2 days of work and 2,500 euros later, we had a working engine again. So we'd been stuck in Ystad for almost a month and somehow we had made a ton of friends. Marcus invited us to have dinner with his family. Jimmy and his wife Vibeke invited us to tag along to the Christmas market. And a guy called Lars, who also had a window boat in the marina, invited us to a Christmas concert in the local church. Everyone was there.
What a glorious ending to our stay in Ystad. Now all we needed was a good weather window to leave Sweden, which took a while, so we went back to the yacht club for dinner.
Work, 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 work. So we are in the Segelclub again. It's quite wavy today, so I'm just here in the kitchen and I'm making lentil soup. So I bet it looks ugly, but yeah. Ugly but delicious.
The next day, 2 journalists from the local newspaper stopped by our boat and they wrote an article about our journey. Apparently we had become the local attraction because now people just came by and knocked on our boat to say hi.
No, like this guy just appeared out of nowhere and he was like, hello, hello. And I went out and he just had like came over with gingerbread cookies and Christmas soda. Wow, I'm just so incredibly surprised and grateful. Like, these people are just so nice.
It's the sweet life of a local celebrity. Oh man. It's Anna's pepperkakor.
These
And they're so good. We had them
These are
before.
also vegan, actually, so that is.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. And just a couple minutes later, another visitor stopped by to wish us luck.
Meet you.
I told you I read about you in the newspaper.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
Take a walk every day. So you stay in Spain in winter?
Yeah, that's the plan. Like that
I mean,
we
it
would.
will be spring until we're there.
Yeah, it will probably be 2 months or so before we're in Spain. Hey,
Nice
thank
to
you
meet
so
you.
much and
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
holidays. Merry Christmas.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Of course,
Merry
Merry Christmas. and Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
Oh,
Yeah,
same to you.
too.
At this point, we realized that these adventures had become too big to capture on our phones. So we made a quick trip to Copenhagen to pick up a new camera and microphones. And when we came back, Jimmy and Vibeke stopped by to wave us off.
You said that we need to film stuff.
Yeah.
So now we have a little camera. And then we will make little videos. And now you are in the first one.
Yes. We wish you a good trip tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Are you going straight to Copenhagen?
No, we're going to Fastebo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell that the camera made us all feel a little bit awkward? Well, this would take some getting used to. The next morning, our weather window had arrived. In next week's episode, we get up bright and early to leave Sweden, but are forced to leave our boat in a canal bordering Denmark. We sail through wind farms and chaotic shipping lanes to try and make it to the Danish capital in time for the Copenhagen Christmas Challenge.